Right, hang on. Yeah, let's just what's going on? Let's make sure. Right, yes, this is the MegaZone CodeZone episode 71. I think it's live. Don't know. We'll see. As you can tell by the title, it is MegaZone Live Unplanned. Nothing has been prepared in advance. Ah, good. It is live. That's good. It's typically Twitch telling me nothing is happening again. Good, good, good. Right, what do I need to do first? And there we go. Yes, we can start properly. Right, what is this all about? Well, it is the CodeZone episode 71. It is completely unplanned. Usually I have a bit of a strategy, something going into these things. I don't have that today. I've been actually quite busy with work for a couple of weeks, which has meant some late nights. And I can't remember where we left. I can't remember what we were doing, but we're definitely going to do some code tonight. So, hello everybody that's already here. I didn't sort of strictly make any sort of big announcements about this, but I feel I owe the audience a few code zones. So I thought, what better to do than to sit here and we'll just code zone until I can't code zone anymore tonight, which will probably be a couple of hours or so. Let's have a look. We crashed Twitch last time. That's right, we did. We crashed Twitch. So I posted a little sort of a follow-up video. And Danderstein's here. Oh, great. Danderstein's here. I think you're coding or being distracted by the chat. That's very likely. Right, so I've got to be careful when Danderstein's in the audience because if I type the wrong syntax, I'm never going to hear the end of it. Right, I think what I wanted to start working on, there's a few things, and we'll probably skip around tonight, different topics. Why not? It's a Saturday night. I've got my hardcore pint of water here to keep us going. I've had a busy day, and I've got toothache, so I'm not in the best of moods, but we'll see how well the code goes. I wanted to start looking at how we can model the objects at different levels of abstraction. So none of this is implemented, and I don't even have any prototype for it. We've seen, so let's run the application. Let's make sure it actually starts. There's always a good starting point. What happens? Alta, hello. Gruffler, hello. Good. Oh yes, who have we got here? So we've got Standard Int is here, Siggy's here, Bixie's here, Danderstein's here. Good. Saturday night, what better to do than to watch somebody write code badly? So this is the application as it stands. We still have to zoom in right at the start. And Danderstein's missed a few of these, but we got to the point where we could start defining fairly complicated shapes, like this complicated rectangle. Now, this is at this level of abstraction is at the sort of control point level of abstraction. And you can select a control point and you can edit a particular control point. And that's what was an interesting shape. Was 4 an interesting shape? I think 4 was an interesting shape. So we can select the control points and change the properties of the shape. We, of course, might want to just select the whole shape and move it around. And specifically for what I want to do, if we have got something a little bit more complicated, for example, a shape like this, I wanted to be able to get straight in and edit the vertices directly. There's some sort of interesting policies we're going to have to implement to do that, because if you start to edit the vertices and then go away and edit the control nodes again, well, it's going to regenerate the vertices, so you're going to lose those changes. And for now, I'm happy for that to be the case. I might explore that in the future, but for now, I'm happy that if we change these, it's going to. If we change the control nodes, we're going to lose the shape. So if I change this, it's going to regenerate that bit of geometry. And I'm happy with that. Oh, and that was so last time we'd never actually saw the splines on the Twitch stream, but there we go. I implemented the splines. We did have it doing something. We had it with the fewer sort of links between them. I think. Did we? It doesn't seem. I'm sure last time when I showed this, we had it sort of more even. There was something different about the nature of the geometry going on. Oh, we did it as crinkly straws, didn't we? That was it. We had far fewer, vertices per sort of as the steps in between the control nodes, and it was using the crinkly straw effect to generate those lines. I don't think I can do that again. Oh yes, I can. There we go. So that's the crinkly straw effect. Why is it the crinkly straw effect? Because if I select it and move it, it reminds everybody of those sort of drinking straws before they were banned. And we were using that to generate the splines, but then I just went back to just generating a strip. I think I did that shortly after the stream collapsed last time, and I just felt that the end result was more pleasing. Yeah, okay, that's where we're at. So as you can see, it's completely unplanned. I'm refreshing in my own head where we're at. And oh, we've got Bogu. Bogu, what computer game was that a character or enemy from? Bogu. Hopefully somebody in the chat can... Is that the ghosts out of Mario? No, they were just boos, weren't they? There was definitely something that was a Bogu, a character in maybe a role-playing game or something like that. Can't remember. 32 viewers all watching this, right? Okay, so I think we'll have a look at first, sort of taking our little test engine that we've developed here and trying to navigate how we handle the different levels of abstraction. Because I think that's the first critical step. So one level is going to be just working at the shape level. The second is going to be working at the control level. And the third is going to be working at the individual vertex level. And where possible, I'd like to try and reuse some of the code. So I'm going to add in some selection tools and things like that. Obviously, control nodes fundamentally are no different to vertices for all intents and purposes. So hopefully there's some reuse we can put in there. I don't know how we're going to go about handling a lot of the things on this. I don't know how we'll handle the rotation of individual shapes, but I guess we'll be feeling that out as we go. Now, part of the other problem, as you can see, it is unplanned and live and totally unscripted. So I can't actually remember most of the code from a test program, so I'm going to have a quick glance at it before we start. Usually I do this before I come online, you see. Have a quick glance just to refresh my memory. What were we at? We did all the Sol stuff. That was good. What was this? Never forget Javid. Oh yeah. That was a bad episode. Okay, that's the script being loaded. Update polygons. So this is the thing that's called whenever you move the control nodes around to go and regenerate the geometry. This is our main application. Good. We've got some helper functions, but where's all the good stuff happening? Here we go. Pixel Game Engine 3, placing new nodes and new shapes. So that's okay. So I think we basically want to look at how we're selecting the shape now. So if I'm constructing a shape, that's a completely different thing. If I'm not constructing a shape, then I can be in some sort of selection mode. And we've seen that already, because I have the onHover function. That was a fun episode. Yes, for everybody except me, that one. Yes, hovering over the shape. So I'm basically just checking to see, does the shape contain the mouse? Fine, that's okay. When we've selected a particular shape, the first thing it'll go into is the control node. Now, maybe that's not what we want. I think we probably want to be able to select a specific shape, and then I like doing things. I don't like double clicking to sort of press into the shape. Maybe we can think about that, but I think something like the tab key to me feels about right. And maybe that's some sort of ancient Blender bias that's seeping into the back of my mind. Because we're not dissimilar to what we're doing here. I don't know if you can do that. I've not used the new Blenders. Can you still sort of tab between the fidelity of the sort of interaction of the meshes and the nodes? You probably can. 3Azzy Man, hello. Oh, speaking of Blender, MegaZone, yes, hello. MegaZone is a bit of a Blender pro. I don't mean the cooking style either. He might be a good cook. I don't know. I doubt it. He's from Finland. Let's crack on then. So we're looking at here. This is how I'm selecting the nodes once I'm in. So once I've selected a shape, that's how I'm selecting the node. Get mouse, get mouse, get mouse. And that's drawing the grid. So it's actually very much selection code here, although there's a lot of it just seems to be setting things to -1 and stuff like that. You have technical issues with your PC at the moment. I did when I logged on. Windows updates. That's why I'm a couple of minutes late starting today. Wasn't expecting it. Do you know I had to shut down? Do you know why I wasn't expecting it? Because usually now you can't shut down Windows easily if there is an update pending. You have to sort of do the update. Now, when I'm shutting down my computer, it's because I've run out of time. I have to go and do something. I've not got time to sit and watch it do the Windows update. But I also like to then switch I have a main master switch for power in this room. So once the computer is shut down, I like to switch that off. And I know that everything in this room is inert. I can go out. There's no risk of fire. Unless Windows Update wants to do its thing, and it can take sort of 15 minutes, perhaps. At that point, I've already walked out the room and walked up the street or whatever. I don't like that situation. So last night, I had to learn very quickly how to go and shut down Windows without it doing the update sequence, because it doesn't give you the option in any of the menus. And I tried the Task Manager, I tried the Start menu, I tried right-clicking the Start menu, I tried Alt F4, and nothing would make the shutdown option appear. It just was update and shut down or update and restart. So I ended up having to quickly Google for the command line to shut Windows down to get it to do it. But of course that was fine, it shut down, but then on startup it's immediately done some sort of update routine. There we go. You probably have to reinstall Windows. Warm peas. Oh, quite like warm peas. I enjoy your YouTube's first chance to manage to catch a stream. The streams are nothing like the videos. I should emphasize that to all the people that sort of wander over here. It's not like me to do a stream on Saturday either. So all a bit different. Are we going to get any sound today? Because I think I'd feel more comfortable just taking these off. I'll make sure that I can hear things at some point. I'll crank the volume up. Oh, that's better. That's better. So we're going to look at doing some sort of shape selection. Let's crack on. So I think I'm going to have these sort of three distinct modes. So the first thing is some visibility of which mode that I'm actually in. So let's actually just cache that here. Let's do it properly with some sort of enum class. And we'll have that as edit mode, new int. Oh, you can tell fingers haven't warmed up yet already. uint 8t type. And we'll have, well, we know we want one which will be vertex, one which is control, and one which is object. Well, we're calling them shapes, aren't we? So let's keep the shape. Shape. We may have more edit modes later, because there's actually things like spray painting and colouring the vertices. Now, I know we're doing this in the Pixel Game Engine implementation of our tool. Why have we not gone back to the GUI one yet? Well, there's still things to try and work out here without needing all of the cruft of the GUI stuff to start up. I have actually, since the last stream, briefly powered up the GUI stuff to have a think about a bit of a strategic direction for that to go in. We'll discuss that maybe later tonight. See how well this goes first. Speedy, hello, yes, good. Speedy's here, everybody. Oh, no, actually, I could hear that. Londo, thank you very much. Subscribe for 24 months. I know, wow. Has it been that long? That's gone very, very quickly. Oh, well, thank you very much. Yeah, good. I raise my glass to you, Londo. It's just water, I'm afraid. But nonetheless, the intent is there. Right, so we've got an edit mode. Let's actually have what edit mode we are in. What shall we call it? Mode edit equals edit mode. Well, we're not technically in any by default, so maybe that's actually something we need to capture. Perhaps we're in construct mode, which is the construction of a new shape. Well, we're not even in that. Perhaps we're in idle. So maybe we've got a full state machine sort of thing going on here. So let's call that idle. And we'll start off in idle. And I just want to sort of visualize on the screen where we're at with that too. Not edit mode. Oh, we could do that. Standard Int's being a bit cheeky tonight. You say Saturday is Saturday's obviously his night. Thank you. I raised my glass of Asda orange and pineapple. Wow. Yeah. We're living it large, aren't we? That's what happens when you sort of hit our age, I think. Danny Cron, good evening. Oh, everybody's coming tonight. That's nice. Yeah, exactly. We could, well, if we were going to do this properly with full-on member classes, it should be ME edit mode would be a nice way to do it, possibly with an 8 at the end. Oh, well, actually, probably if we let's satisfy my gets up a U8 at the end. No, yeah, is that better? Is that what everybody would prefer me to use tonight? ME edit mode _8. Oh, yeah, we need some underscores, don't we? Is that better? Okay, well, that's what we'll run with for the time being. We'll get fed up of typing that. Let's do something real. Let's get warmed up. Let's do the really trivial bit. Let's just visualize what that's going to be on the screen. So that's going to be right at the bottom after we've drawn absolutely everything. Mouse cursor. What am I doing with that? Fill rec decal. Oh, that's the little pip at the bottom, isn't it? Right. So display the mode. Let's see what we're doing. So very simple. Switch in this case. Now we'll take our variable. Minxie Rose. Well, if everyone's here, hello. I can't stand the whole M or underscore thing. I know, that's why I like to do it for people. Plug the Steam Deck in a minute. Has anybody out there played Super Mario Brothers Wonder yet on the Switch? I got a Switch at Christmas. I got it for my offspring, and they seem to enjoy it quite a lot. They've reached an age now where they can do things with it. The underscore is an overkill. Be quiet when it gets up. Right, let's have a look. So what did we have? We had already forgotten idle. Oh, Visual Studio sort of it's growing in sophistication, isn't it? I think now I can. No, come on, give it to me. What? Go. Give me the thing. I think it can. Just go and like immediately populate all of these things. Because for the first time, and maybe it's been there for years and I've never noticed it, you can get it to, if you've got a base class filled with virtual methods, you can get it to go and extract all of those and create it in your derived classes. And that's something I've always done by hand. Right, so what we're doing, we're just going to... See, this would be nice, right? You don't want it to sort of explode immediately, all of the possible permutations here. So we're going to be tidying all of this up with a bit of a state machine. I'll zoom in just a touch for those that are watching on the couch with their loved ones, which I'm sure is nearly all of the audience. Shape. Because I always find this a bit tedious. I don't like the syntax of switch case statements either. I think that it's a bit messy. Control, break, edit. Oh. Edit mode. Last one is vertex. Right at the bottom. So in a way, that's kind of a priority. Idle is doing nothing. So we're going to display this at the top. We're just going to display it using standard PG2 stuff, but we'll do this as decal. So draw string prop decal, which is a bit of a mouthful, but it's quite a useful one. Yeah. Oh, the clan can do for a couple of years now. Hang on. Yeah, possibly. Insert comments about Rust. Oh dear. You are in fact watching for your catch. Thank you, Lemsel. Thank you. That justifies exactly what I was worried about. What the people get up to when they're watching streams always makes me think. So draw string prop decal. I mean, since we're taking it a bit slower and a bit easier tonight, this is it's drawing a string of text in the pixel game engine, which is my tool. I'm sure nearly everybody in the audience will be familiar with what that is. Prop means draw it using a proportional font style, and decal means just throw it at the GPU and let it render it, and it'll render it on top of everything else. So it in one function allows us to sort of achieve what we need. I have mentioned this before, but it's really nice now that as you zoom in, the tooltips also zoom in, which is great for you guys. So let's put this, where are we going to put this? Put this somewhere in the top corner. Oh, don't want that. And we'll just have mode, and this one we're going to have idle. Because Still, there is no sensible way of getting the string equivalent of your enum class, which is a travesty. Absolutely rubbish. It should be there. Why it's not there? Somebody please go and submit a paper to the committee and get that sorted out for me, please. Oh, don't want that one. I want that one. Construct, shape, control. Ooh, vertex. I was shooting my longbow. Oh, where's that line gone? Oh, there it is. It's at the end. I was shooting my longbow this morning, and I've hit my arm with the string. I'm in the wars. I don't think you can actually see anything today. Oh, you can. There's quite a nasty bruise there. And so I'm sort of leaning on that whilst I'm typing. You don't want to hit yourself in the arm with a 50-pound longbow. Construct. I'm into longbow now. For years I've shot recurve, but because I said recurve, I typed an R there. That's how my brain works. But I've kind of really fallen in love with longbow. There's just something so primitive about it. And it's so deadly. Right, I'll catch up with the chat. Alex! Oh, hello, Alex. Nice to see you. More understandable than a huge change. Yeah, that's right. It is, right? This is the right approach. But I just feel one of the things I don't like is the scoping problems you have with switch case. So my preference is to always do it like that, and then I always want to sort of indent that because that's how I work. And then I know that you can express this on the outside here, and you don't need it at all in many cases. I don't like the fact that there's quite a lot of inconsistency, and it obviously means something, particularly declaring variables. I know why, I know the technical reasons why. I just feel it's just messy, and I wish sometimes the C++ guys would go, do you know what, it doesn't matter if that program from 1973 doesn't compile anymore. Right, so we've got our mode. Let's quickly make sure that we've typed in the code sensibly. I'm debugging some C# code wrote 3 months ago. Oof. There we go. So you can just about see that if you're watching in high definition. Up here, we've got the mode. Do you know what? Should I just make that a little bit more visible for you guys? So one of the things we can do when we draw strings, of course, is we can make it a little bit more visible. We can scale it up. Now, I like to scale. Here's a little cheat for you. All of the one-lone coder fonts that you see on any of the videos and that sort of thing is this particular font, but then scaled by 2 in the y-axis. So if you didn't know that, you've learned a little inside secret there. And I actually quite like the look of this because it reminds me of Mode 7 dual row height on the BBC Micro, and Speedy will fill you in with all of that later. It's a very nostalgic sort of look for me. If you've used teletext systems, you'd understand what I'm talking about. There we go. So that's a little bit more visible. Mode idle. Yeah, the double height font. It looks quite nice, doesn't it? You keep breakout sides. Oh, got an archery question. That's the best kind of question. What's the difference between long and recurve? Well, a recurve bow is what you see in the Olympics, right? So it's a nowadays like carbon fiber composite sort of construction. It's got sights, it's got plastics, it's got an arrow rest, it's got a sort of a button which is used for putting sort of sideways pressure on the arrow. It's got loads of twiddlies and it's got tillings and all sorts of interesting stuff about it. And it's good fun, and it's like you're a sniper but with a bow. It's not quite like compound. If you're using a compound, that's just full-on cheating. So recurve still requires you to actually have some strength and some skill. Longbow is a stick. Double the scale one more time. We want to do everything. So we want everything to be bigger. Right. Okay, so 2, 4. I can't remember what the keyboard shortcut is to select everything similar. See, it highlights it. I know that there is a something to just go and select those things, but I can't remember what it is. Right, take a look at that. Basically, yeah, well, it's a long bendy stick with a with a piece of string between the two ends. Yeah. There we go. Is that better? We can all see what it says now. Idle mode. Nice. Well, idle mode is what we're going to have until we start drawing some shapes. So I think we're starting to require a bit more of a sophisticated state machine than what I've got here. This is all okay, but I'm using this not constructing shape sort of Boolean. Is it Control Shift Dot? It might have been. It might be. Yes, I think that does make sense. That rings a bell. I thought it might have been semicolon, something like that. Can't remember. Yeah, I'm not surprised it reminds you of the Amiga. It's not a dissimilar sort of to font to the BBC Micro at the point. I guess most of those old computers, if they had the capability of rendering teletext of some description, would have had a similar art package for the font. I just don't know. I don't know about that sort of thing. It's all muscle memory for you. Yeah, I used to like, on British Teletext, we had something called, there was a games review section called Digitizer, and there was a quiz section called Bamboozle, and I used to read those two things every single day. I did like teletext. It's a shame teletext went. Right, what am I doing? State machines. So, let's have a look. So when we start to construct a shape, that happens when we play. So if we're not constructing a shape, so if we want to change this now to, if we are in idle mode. So let's go through and start changing some of these. So we've got this constructing shape flag everywhere. So I don't want to sort of immediately break everything, so I'm not too fussed about changing that. If we're constructing a shape here, then we're technically in shape mode. I think we want to do select the shape first. I've even forgotten what my types are now. So construct. Oh, let's do this properly. If we're going to do it, let's do it properly. So we want to try and make this into construct mode now, and we're constructing a particular shape. It might even be useful at this stage to describe what the shape is that we're constructing as well. Okay, I've got two lambda functions here which are to sort of help me out. New shape. See, this looks like a bit of a strange, because that actually used anywhere? I can't remember. Let's have a look. Oh, it is used in a couple of places. New shape gets set to true, new shape gets set to true, new shape gets set to true. Oh, it is actually set to false at that point. Oh, this is right. Unpicking some of this is going to be fun and games. So we'll leave new shape alone for the time being until we understand what it does. And I'm looking for constructing shape, so that should now be in its own state, I suppose. Not constructing shape. See, this is the problem. I've really only got a choice of it is being constructed or not, and that's why we needed to break it out into a few other types of state. Dragon Eye, hello. Oh, it's good to see all the old gang out and about today. How is space, Dragon Eye? Dragon Eye is a huge, elite, dangerous fan. Is space going well? Right. Shape hover. Okay, right. So let's tell you what we'll do. We'll sort of not start again, but I'm going to start blank and then sort of bring in the code that I need for handling these constructions. So I'm not going to use switch in this case because I am going to use just standard thing. So if we're in idle mode, right. So if, well, what did we call it now? ME edit mode U8. Beautiful, like that. Edit mode idle. If we're in idle mode, that's the mode that then allows us to go into construction mode. And we would go into construction mode when any of these things happened. Okay, so let's take all of these constructions. There's quite a few now, isn't there? Take all of those and we'll slap them in there, and we will then get rid of this bit in each one. This is lazy streaming, this, isn't it? Sort of fixing all of these they're not writing much interesting code. You can tell it's Saturday. I've been doing a lot of Pixel Game Engine 3 stuff. Some of you may be following along on the Discord server. I'm trying. I'm fairly happy actually through the experimentations that we've been doing over this series with how the graphics are going to be put together. And I thought it was time to start really handling the back end side of it all of the nuts and bolts to make it work behind the scenes. And I think we'll have a look at that at some point tonight as well, since we've got time. You have a new job and a new car. Oh, I'd love to get a new car. My car's falling to bits. What car have you treated yourself to? That's really cool. Oh, it's really good. I'm pleased for you. You got a new job. I know. We don't sort of speak that much, but I do know that you found yourself in a bit of a rut. So I'm pleased that you're branching out and moving on up. Moving on up. 2015 BMW. Oh, right, okay. So something really trivial and not fast at all then. Right, so once we've entered idle mode, then we're going to do new shape. And I think new shape is when we can start to push ourselves into construction mode. Yes. So when we call new shape, that's when we go constructing shape. So we've got our fantastic variable, me edit mode equals edit mode construction. So that's construction of a new shape. So let's get rid of this. Now, I think in order to help me out here, I'm going to just get rid of the definition of bconstruct shape, because that will then flag up lots of errors, and we'll have to then go and investigate those errors one by one. It's only flagged up 2 errors, so it's not too bad. So let's have a look. So that's edit mode is into construction. We don't have a way yet of sort of exiting edit mode, but we'll maybe have something like the escape key, something like that. If we're in edit mode and it's a new shape, well, that's always going to be construct. So if it's a new shape, that's construction mode. Yes. Okay, so I'm going to do the same. This new shape variable is puzzling me. I can't really remember what I was doing with that. Maybe I used that to flag something being dumped into a container. I'll say. So new shape, if new shape is equal to true, why would you call new shape in different places? You wouldn't, right? So I think we don't need any of that anymore. Coding on the hoof here. It's no wonder, I think, sometimes people look at me and go, how does this guy actually code for a living? I can fully understand why. Upgraded to Windows 11, oh dear. My old car was like do you know what? I have a Ford Mondeo. I've had it now for quite, well, I think over 10 years. And at the weekend, last weekend, the Ford badge, fell off the car. I think that's a sign that I need a new car now. It is the thing is, it's actually it's not a particularly widespread model of Mondeo. It's actually really, it was the creme de la creme of Mondeos of its time. So it's the Titanium Sport X 2.4, so the really nice one, and it's a shame. It still runs. It's properly fast. I'll give it that. That's why I can't get rid of it. It's over, yeah. Well, that was the point where it realised, hang on, this is now going to get expensive. Okay, so hang on, what's going on here? So if the current construction node is greater than the max construction nodes, so this was the thing that was required, because some of the shapes have to stop construction. So once they've hit a particular number of nodes, they can't have any more. In which case, I think we should just dump back to idle state. Right, okay. So I've already forgotten what this is. Me edit mode equals edit mode. We'll just jump, for now, we'll go back to idle. when that happens. So this happens if you're drawing, say, a rectangle, you can only place 2 nodes. So once those 2 nodes are placed, you've finished constructing the shape. Some shapes, however, have an infinite number of control nodes, things like lines and the splines that I showed a few minutes ago. So they need to be handled a bit differently. Right, so when we're in idle mode, we can do this. We can go into new shape mode, and they will automatically dump back to idle mode. Or there's another way. Here we go. So this is it. So if we're in constructing shape mode, oh, we've not got that far yet. We'll come back to that one. This one here. So this is how to exit a particular construction. So we need to be, yeah. So if EU error equals edit mode construction. So if we are constructing a shape, then it looks like we've got all of this stuff to do. So I'm going to just take that out of there. What's going on here? If we're in the process of constructing a shape, right? So if we're constructing a shape and you press the left mouse button, do you know what? We'll do this right. I will see mouse left. Press the left mouse button, then it's going to place the nodes as required. And if we press the right mouse button, when we actually port this all over to the GUI at some point in the future, it's actually a little bit different. We don't need so much control over what we're doing with the mouse, because the GUI is fundamentally all event-based, so we can handle things a little bit more sensibly. New shape equals true. So yeah, why does the new shape... it's to allow us to place a new shape. So that's now irrelevant. And constructing shape, well, we may as well go back down to idle mode again, because we've finished constructing the shape with the right mouse button. I've got a feeling we might miss something like the last node. So that's why I'm sort of planning ahead in my mind where we're going with this. Edit mode, idle. But that's what we like on this stream. I'll write a whole bunch of code, and then we'll see how much of it works first time. Often, not very much. We're not constructing... Well, if we're always constructing the shape here, so at the moment... we want to update that polygon. I was wondering about this, actually, when I was cleaning my roof this afternoon, as you do. I took the pressure washer up onto the roof. And I was thinking, how often am I calling this update polygon? And I think when I'm constructing the shape, I'm basically calling it every single frame rather than when I actually need to. So there's a potential for some optimization there. But I've got to remember, I can sort of micro-optimize all of the Pixel Game Engine test implementation, but it is to no end, because as soon as we stick it in the GUI, the sort of the sequence becomes quite different. 2.4 diesel Volvo. Is new shape a lambda function? So MS Paint Enthusiast. Yes, new shape is a lambda function. It doesn't have to be. It just, for me, it felt like the appropriate place to put it, because there's quite a few functions that call new shape in this case, but they'll never be called outside of this particular function. So that, for me, is a good candidate for a lambda function. It's just tidy in my mind. One of the complaints people often get when I'm sort of not coding things as the textbooks tell you to code them is because the way I structure my code is basically how my brain is laying out the program, and I'm just sort of throwing it all in the source file, and I'll quite happily at some point go back and optimize all of this to be a bit more formal, a bit more conventional. It's very much how I like to go. I'm very sort of organic as a programmer, I think. Stick optimize, yep. Textbook, schmexbook. That's absolutely right. I think I've only had one good programming textbook. Have I got it up here? Just a second. Let's see if I can find it. I'm going to jump up onto here. Yes. Can't reach up on my shelf. Nope, it is up there, but I can't reach it without standing on a chair, and I'm going to end up hurting myself if I do that. You mean find the code that works, then optimize? I mean, that's a novel strategy, isn't it? It's that good. Exactly. I keep it up there for. Well, it's just an important book to me. You end up becoming attached to these things, and it's one of those books. Most people would think, it's absolute rubbish, but for me, it just clicked. I must have read it at the right time, and just it was very good. Anyway, where are we at? So we've got construct mode. If we're not in construct mode, we're then in sort of idle mode, which is not the case. So this idle mode is now defunct because in idle mode, we want to check for hovering over other shapes. So we're either placing new shapes like this, and if we've not placed a new shape, we can check to see, are we hovering over? Now, if this was a proper state machine, I would be sort of setting next states and then doing things, updating the frame. I'm kind of hacking it a little bit here. What's the title then? Okay, hang on. Get up here onto my shelves. Okay, fine. Right, we want that one. That one. That one. I've lost my tape and that one. Right, okay. Okay, right. So, book number one. So the programming book that I just really love. Okay, and I don't think you can buy it anymore, but the PDF is available, and it's available legally as well, is Advanced 3D Game Programming with DirectX 9. Now, you might think, wow, that's an incredibly sort of niche thing, but as a book, it's actually quite open. It basically introduces classes in C++, and takes you from that sort of level of detail all the way through the rendering pipeline of DirectX 9. And so for me, it then also went into things like character AI, and exactly, and then it went into things like BSP trees, and then it would go into how do you handle sound, and it's quite strange that for a book which you immediately assume is mostly graphics, it's 3D game programming, so that's a bit different, right? Next book, definitely worth getting. Okay, Tannenbaum's Structured Computer Organization. Right, so if you don't have this book, it's a bit old hat now. You can tell these are quite worn. This is an important book because it tells you everything about how a computer works. Like fundamentally, well, I'm just looking at the price of this. Now, I bought this book would have been just after the year 2000, something like that, and it was £36 back then. Woof, lift your neck. So it tells you basically how computers actually work. So when you've got this sort of conventional understanding of CPUs and memory, but actually what's going on behind the scenes. And when you suddenly start to understand that things like translation, look-aside buffers are actually important things, then you suddenly realize you don't know anything about computing at all. What was that last book? That last book was, so the first one was Advanced 3D Game Programming with DirectX 9. This one was the Structured Computer Organization by Tannenbaum. So if you actually really want to know how computers work, that's a good place to start. Right, okay, a bit more specialist now. Getting a good treat tonight. So it's Speech and Language Processing. This is a proper tome, right? Speech and Language Processing, or TOOM, depending on where you're from. It says here, an introduction to natural language processing, computational linguistics, and speech recognition. Now, that might surprise a few of you because I've not done any video material on things like natural language processing and speech recognition, but it was something I actually specialised in as part of my degree. And the challenge that we were set, I've told a few people this, so I think Alex, I've actually told this before, was we had to build your own speech synthesizer. This was like, I think, a third-year project. So you would be given a phonetic alphabet and you would have to get it to synthesize the particular phonemes and tonemes of a given language. Now, I went to a university that had a large contingent of international students. And so they thought it would be fun to group us all up into small groups, and you would pick the phonetic alphabet of the language of one member of the group, then have to run it through some sort of translation to then sort of synthesize it in the alphabet of another. So we had to recognize Serbian and synthesize it into Arabic. which really sort of, got you didn't know if it was right. None of us could work it out. Anyway, right. So yeah, actually, Alex, yeah, I know. That's why I think we might have talked about this before. Right. So another book worth getting. Yeah, my university was pretty hardcore. So another book worth getting, and this one actually was fundamental in my life, and I'll explain why in a minute. This one is Kevin Gurney's An Introduction to Neural Networks. Now, I've just recommended this to MegaZone, and I still think those of you, I think nearly everybody watching this now knows, my primary research focus as a university postdoctorate was in machine learning and neural networks. We're never going to talk about that on the channel or the stream. However, if you wanted to start getting into that thing, this is the book to start with. This assumes you know nothing. It's not mega thick, but it covers absolutely everything to get going. And I can assure you, even despite the biggest recent advances in all of the AI that we're seeing now, the fundamentals have not changed at all. So that leads me on to my last book, and this one will surprise you as a software engineer. I recommend this, and this will bring a tear to the eye of a handful of people watching. Now, I recommend A Horowitz and Hill, The Art of Electronics. I bet a few of you have got this book. So my undergraduate degree was computer systems engineering, and I found the software side of it rather trivial, but I was more interested in the electronics side of it. And so I didn't really know much about electronics learning going into this course. Yeah, the Holy Buy, exactly, Bixie. Right. Which edition is? Mine's mine's a second edition, which I guess sort of dates me somewhat, but it does have, I think it tells you how to program a Z80 in the back. And it turns out, my day job now is electronics anyway. So it's been a useful book to me. It's really detailed. I mean, there's nothing left to think about in electronics once you've got through this book. The pages are that sort of thin Bible-like paper. That last one was The Art of Electronics, Horowitz and Hill. It is sort of the standard text for any electronics student, but it's just a very good book. It's incredibly detailed and it's accessible at the same time. So there we go. They're the books I would recommend. They're probably a little out of date, so if there are newer versions. I know that one of the more recent versions of the Horowitz and Hill wasn't actually well received. They tried to dumb it down or something. Anyway, you see, you're a third edition person, Bixie. The noob. That's right, Londo. It did. It was sort of last week or something. It just sort of fell out. I'm sure the clones will still keep going for a long time yet. I think it was officially sort of ditched, wasn't it? So there you go. Totally unplanned tonight. No idea what's going on. But I quite like the sort of segues into something else. Why not? Because I've already now forgotten what we were doing. So we were putting in some state machines, and when we're in idle mode, we want to check all of the shapes to see if there's something there, and if there is something there, we want to pick which one are we hovering over. Good. I like that. Now, if we're in idle mode and we are hovering over something, N-shape hover, then that means we can start to interact with it. So if we were to select the shape that we were hovering over, then we should go into our shape mode. Yeah, I think that the clones will be popping out. No problem at all. I was, for reasons unrelated to any of this, looking at sort of sound interface device chips, SID chips, which are the the beepy boopy boop type stuff you got in old consoles and computers. I'm a little side project I'd like to take on at some point in the future, although I have no idea when. I'd like to build a tracker and an emulation of one of those chips quite accurately. But let's add that to the list. N-shape hover. So yes, if we have got a shape we have hovered over, so if N-shape hover is not equal to -1, and we click, then we can go into the shape edit mode. So if get mouse, we'll see mouse left dot be pressed. Then our weird, I've already forgotten, what's it called? Oh, so somewhere up there. ME equals edit mode shape. Yes. Decapant316. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Thank you. Thank you for joining in. Would you go for the C64? Do you know, I've never really been a C64 fan or user, simply because it wasn't part of my upbringing. Nothing specifically against it. The one I was looking at was the BBC Micro one. It's what I'm familiar with. It's not too complicated. It's a Texas Instruments chip, so it's quite well documented. And I was listening to some performances made through this device, and so the proper nostalgia vibes were shining through. And I thought, yeah, you know what? As a pretend musician, I quite like the sound of it, and I think I'd like to do some more stuff with it. Discovered stream a few weeks ago, long time fan of YouTube content. Thank you. Well, you'll soon discover, as you have done, the streams are not like the YouTube videos. Same here. I went Spectrum, then Amiga, so the BB. Yeah, exactly. It's like whether you fall into the Nintendo camp like all the cool kids, or were you part of that Master System camp? You know, those guys. Right? There's a big difference. So if we've got a shape that we've hovered over, if it's got the index of that particular shape, and we select it, then we go into edit mode for that shape. So that's good. If we're not constructing shapes, so what is all of this doing? So this is actually the shape selection stuff. Yeah, okay. So that's the bit that we're getting there. We're zoning in. We're zoning in. I don't know. The only thing I thought was cool about the Master System was that some of them, for some reason, had Alex Kidd built in. Other than that, I thought it was rubbish. But then I went and got a Game Gear, which was just a Master System in disguise. So, yeah. I don't know. It's like, do you know what really the thing that annoys me most about sort of the Mega Drive and the Genesis is how rubbish they sound. And I bet all of the Mega Drive fans in the stream audience tonight will go, no, actually, it had well better audio than the Super Nintendo. I don't know. I always felt that they still sounded a bit sort of tinny and machiny. Slowly finding a way to get myself #cancelled by disrespecting the 8-bit, 16-bit era Sega fans. Edit mode control. What am I doing? Right. So if we're not constructing the shape, so yes, so this is what we were doing before. Is basically if you've got a shape selected and you press M, then we can move the control nodes. That's where we're going to start to specialize. So if we're in editing control mode, so let's stick that in. So if we've got M E edit mode U8 equals edit mode, and we want to be editing the control points of a specific thing. Oh, hang on, need a thing there. You see, there you are, Alex. Yeah, you're right. Mega Drive had that sort of harsh sound. Whereas, I think, and I might be wrong because people assume I know everything about these old consoles, but I don't. I think the Super Nintendo used basically an FM synthesis, whereas the Genesis stayed with a subtractive synthesis approach. And maybe I'm just talking on my ass, but I feel that that's the case. Certainly, the when you listen to like say Final Fantasy VI's music, you can hear it's very MIDI by PC standards at that time, as opposed to the Mega Drive, which was still very much arcadey, plinky plonky sort of thing. What is Genesis? Mega Drive, exactly. I value my wrong opinions. So if we're in control mode, we're editing control points. We'll come back to that in a bit. We've got no way of actually sort of shoving ourselves into control mode at this point. So we'll just steal that code and stick it in there. Looks like I'm missing a bracket somewhere. Because we've not yet selected a shape. All we've got is hovering. So this can go. That can go. This looks like ways of unselecting things, but let's just double check that we've got this bit sort of sensible. We're in hover mode, and that allows us to go into shape. Now, if we're in any of these modes, I want to sort of have an escape. Maybe we can bind in the escape key to get back to idle somewhere or another. But I suppose once we're in shape mode, that's where I want to sort of tab through the different modes with the tab key. We're not there yet, though, with that. So in our construct mode, we're pressing that. If we're right mode, we sort of cancel it. That's building up the shapes. Control mode, we haven't got. So I should be able to compile. Oh, no, we won't be able to compile just yet. I've still got an error. If constructing shape, what's this one doing? If we are constructing a shape... I think this is actually drawing the shape that's being currently constructed. So yeah, we do actually want to draw things a bit differently too. So okay, because this draws it with a sort of a translucent effect. ME edit mode. So all those that have joined the stream thinking, what is that awful variable name? You just got to blame Standard Int in the audience because he got to choose tonight. We do this occasionally. We'll let the audience choose bits and pieces of how the night should progress. We should get the code roulette wheel out, shouldn't we? Oh, maybe next time. I don't think it's going to be that trivial for me to set up straight away. Edit mode. What am I doing? So edit mode, construct. So we're constructing a shape. If we're constructing a shape, do this. Let's get rid of that bit. Oh, so you can see this is what I was talking about before. Organic coding, which is sort of splatting code all over the file. Happy little accidents all over the place, that sort of thing. Constructing shape. If we're not got any shapes selected, what are we doing here? That I think is draw. Oh, that's to draw the currently selected shape. In which case, I pulse it. I think, so you can identify the shaped. Fillvec decal. Which one of these is doing it at? Don't know what's going on here. That one's drawing... Oh, okay, this is drawing the reticules. Sorry, I'm getting confused. Yes, this is drawing the points of the control nodes in that case. Alright, we'll see what happens. I think we're getting to the point where we can do a quick compile just to see what the damage is we've made to our program. Let's have a look-see. It's getting there. It's thinking. Right. So we're in idle mode. Now I should still be able... Oh. Dr. Falcon just subscribed via Twitch. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. If we press R now... There we are. Construct mode. And click. We go back to idle mode. Good. Okay, so the state machine is kind of working. Now what we need to do next is let's just try a different shape. Make sure we've got... Okay. Well, that's quite nice now. You can sort of see the construction of it as it's happening. So something changed there. That must be what we were just messing around with at the end there, how it goes about rendering that particular shape. So the hover is still working nicely because we're in idle mode. And if I select this shape, we're in shape edit mode now. which means I can't then go and place new shapes. I should be able to pick up the nodes. Now that's what we've not implemented yet. At the moment we do something silly like we've got to press the M key to move that node. Now of course we can start to do more interesting ways of interacting with the shape. The shape itself, I guess we don't want to draw the version. In shape mode we just want it to sort of highlight, and shape mode is about moving the whole shape in one go. So let's have a look at how we would implement that. If we're in shape mode, we don't want to draw any part of the construction, I think. So yeah, we've got all sorts of different ways of drawing this. So that's drawing all of the basic shapes. If we're hovering, then we draw that sort of glowing, pulsing one. And I just don't think we care about drawing the reticules just yet. We will do, depending on what type of construction mode we're in later on. I'll leave that for the time being, but let's have a look now at handling moving of shapes whilst we're in shape mode. Oh, one thing last to check is getting out of shape mode. We're going to need to be able to sort of find a way to get out of it. Let's just have a quick check at that. So I'll just smash a quick rectangle in there. If I select that, yeah, at the moment I'm sort of now locked into that state. So let's add in a way of getting out. So where is shape mode? That's idle. Construct, control. I don't think, did we actually get that far? I don't think we implemented anything for that, did we? We could send ourselves to that shape, there it was, but we had no mechanism of getting out of that shape. So, okay. Constructing and editing control modes we'll come back to in a short while. Right, so if ME edit mode shape. So just so I know what this bit of code is doing, this is manipulation of the shape as a whole. So this, we want to be able to pick up the shape and drop it somewhere else. So if we've got multiple shapes, I want to be able to sort of position them around the place, and I want it to feel somewhat intuitive. So it could be quite possible that we can select other shapes whilst we're in shape edit mode, just so that way we don't have to keep dipping out of one and moving back into the other. We'll get a feel for that as we start to do it. So we know that we've selected a shape if we're in shape edit mode because we've got it in shape hover. If we've selected the shape, then we probably do need to set some sort of selected shape, which I'm guessing is N shape selected. Good. Equals N shape hover. So we know which specific shape that we've got when we now go into shape edit mode. So now the mouse starts to function a bit differently. It's possible we also want to get the location of the shape when we pressed that button. So let's go and add a quick variable to store that location, because when we're moving shapes around, knowing where you are relative to the shapes, well, the shape itself is quite useful. I'll explain that once we've implemented it. It's a bit difficult to describe, but as soon as you see it, you'll go, oh yeah, that's necessary. So we'll have a mouse down location, which gets set when, that was lucky, wasn't it? When we choose the particular shape. So mouse down equals, so what have I got as my V world mouse, right? V world mouse. Is V world mouse clamped? Because that might start to feel a bit yak. Otherwise, I think V world mouse is It isn't clamped, but vCursor is. We might want to change that to vCursor at some point, but we'll play with that when we start doing this. So at this point, we know that the mouse has gone down in shape edit mode. We're going to want to do something similar again. If we're in shape edit mode and we press the left mouse button, we know that the shape hasn't changed because we're just in, that's been set once. We're not changing state. But once the mouse is down, we're going to need another flag, boolean to say that we are dragging the shape. Shape drag. We'll also put that one up here. So shape drag. So the idea is we can be, when you pick up the shape, you don't want it to sort of immediately teleport the shape to say the top left. It's important that you store that sort of offset. So we have a functional disconnect between where the mouse cursor is and where the shape is. But it's a functional disconnect mechanically, but for us humans, it works quite nicely. That you can pick the shape up anywhere as part of its body. That's what I'm trying to implement here. Let's now... Oh, look at this. We've got... Oh, this is interesting. Some spam. Oh, Rogue's here as well. That's far more interesting than what's just appeared on the screen. So it says, hello, sorry for bothering you. I want to offer promotion of your channel, viewers, followers, views, chatbots. The price is lower than any competitor. The quality is guaranteed to be the best. Flexible and convenient order management panel, chat panel, everything is in your hands. A huge number of custom settings. Oh, yeah, getting my strim on. Got a bot in the chat. Yeah, I don't know what to do about that. That's annoying. If I buy now, I get a free toaster. I don't even have a toaster. That's amazing. I'm trying to work out how to do that standard hint. Thank you, Pixie. I'm sort of randomly clicking bits of the Twitch chat going, oh, why is this so complicated? No, you don't ask, you don't get. Right. So... you're totally distracted now. I'm just thinking of the untold riches I could have by, getting in touch with that guy and saying, yeah, you know what? Have access to all of my channel and everything. So, get mouse. Yeah, what am I doing? Right, mouse is down. Right, so we're editing the shape. We've got the shape drag. We've got the location of where the left mouse went down. So now we want to do whilst the mouse is held down. So if it is, if B shape drag, we want to move the whole shape. And I guess finally, of course, we'll want to, if we release the mouse, so if get mouse OLC key left dot release, then simply B shape drag is set to false. Now, I know there's some people watching this. I get sort of weird questions like this on YouTube comments. Why are you not just setting B-shape drag to getMouse.be released? Again, it's just my way of coding. It's explicit. It's visual. I don't have to think about what it's doing at any point. I can see I'm very clearly setting something to true up here, but I'm doing the opposite action down here. And that, for me, allows very quick sort of navigation and understanding of the code that I'm doing. I've got it going up, coming down, sort of way that the code is structured. I know that sounds strange and sort of like pretentious, but it does work for me. Tried to mod it, but the mod screen is not enabled on this device. So Megetsu watching via his watch. Brilliant, that's hardcore, that. I'll have to zoom in just for you, Megetsu. Exactly, what's an opportunity? I've missed that opportunity for this excellent... Oh, actually, I've just seen a can of... I'm going to join you, Londo. I'm going to up your Asda Orangeade with my Tesco Orange Zero. Oh yes, let's get this open, get this bad boy going, get this party started. Right, it's good to know that the moderation team are on it, right? Moderation team, they know what they're doing. No issues. Bang, bump, bots banned. What's the difference between? Oh, hang on. Yeah, that's a good shout. Good shout. There we are. Hedgehog of Hermes. What the difference is? They are very, very different, and it shouldn't be like that at all. There we go. Hopefully, I've not done that elsewhere. Key is when you're doing things with the keyboard, so it is the left cursor key, whereas this is the left mouse button. There we are. Thank you. In PG2, it doesn't use enums as the constants. There's political reasons for that, I think. PG3, it's all enums now, but for PG2, it remained as constants. Pixie's web deving. Ugh, why? Who knows? One is the mouse button. Yeah, there we go. That's it. Thank you, Rogue. Right, so if we're dragging the shape, we want to move all of the vertices by how much, and I'm going to get this the wrong way around, how much the mouse has moved. So we know that we've got a particular shape. We can iterate through the vertices of that shape and move its points. Now, we've not done any shape manipulation yet, so let's see if I can remember how to do any of this at all. So we'll take a reference. I don't know what it's going to be, but I'm guessing we've got a vector of shapes. We have. That's a good start. We know we've got a selected shape. Shape selected. That's a good start. I'm not going to... Oh, I'm going to have to move everything. I'm going to have to move all of the vertices and its construction nodes. That's okay, because I think, was it poly? Is poly the interesting bit here? And nodes. Okay, and if I do move all of the nodes, do I need to update the polygon? No, I don't. But we just want the nodes to be in the same place. Right, okay. So we want to go through, firstly, all of the nodes. We'll do that. So then we can do p dot good. So that's just a vector 2D. So we can go plus equals v world mouse take v mouse down. Is that right? It's simple as that. If I've moved the mouse over to the left, that goes small. No, that goes bigger. I think I want it to be the other way around. Possibly that. And once we've done that, I can then set... I need to update my V-mouse down at that point. Okay. Yeah, loads of room for optimization here. Mouse, world, world, mouse. World, mouse. Let's just see what's going on here, because I'm going to copy that again. Because we've also got a set of control nodes, we've also got a set of vertices which need to move around. So I'm guessing that's in poly. Oh, hang on, why are we getting a... Oh, why not? What's going on? I think it's... There we are, verts. And we can leave... Why? Oh, because now it's p.pos. I think that might do what we wanted to do. Let's just see. Let's see what happens. Oh, there's lots of chats out. So, yeah, it just doesn't. You're correct, Sandy. I know you're talking to. I'm guessing you're talking when we're referring about enums and things. It was because the syntax for handling the enums always requires sort of namespaces in front of it, and at the time I wasn't really into namespaces. So we're doing our construction of a rectangle. We select our shape. Oh, it's going the wrong way. It's going the wrong way. Oh. But it is allowing us to drag it around, and we can put it back down. So if it's going the wrong way, I did sort of get that bit wrong. It was 50-50, let's be honest. We don't have to think these things through. If you've only got two options, you may as well just try it until it works. Everything's 50-50, by the way. There's no such thing as probability. It's a myth. It either happens or it doesn't. There's only two options. Right, let's try that again. So if I've got my rectangle, yeah. So the overall effect that I wanted to achieve was the following: I can pick up my rectangle anywhere. See, and it stays relative to the mouse cursor. Now, what we can see is, though, we're moving off the snap grid, and that's why I was thinking it's more important that actually we don't use world mouse, we use cursor. Just to keep everything snapping nicely. That's an important facet of my sort of engine that I'm developing here. So we'll change you to V cursor, new to V cursor, new to V cursor, V cursor. I think they're the only places that we've got it. Let's try that again. So if we draw a rectangle, and now it doesn't matter where we set, because the cursor is now properly snapped. We should be able to drag. Nice. Okay, so that's also snapping to the world. I don't think yet. Yeah, so okay, I can't actually let go of the shape because we don't have a selection of, if you select the void, that you actually deselect your current shape. So that's what we need to add in now. So if we are in shape selection mode, where have we gone? Shape selection mode, and we select nothing. If we're in shape selection mode, we want to check for selection of another shape. Yeah, so we're going to be reusing this bit of code. Yes. Let's just steal that for the time being. If we're in shape selection mode, and we click with our left mouse button, but we don't hit another shape. Or do we want just hover to be live all the time? Right, highlight mouse over shape. That might be more useful to us to actually have that at various different locations. All right. Yeah, I think what I want to happen is when we're in shape edit mode, I don't want to have to sort of deliberately back the user out I'm just going to get rid of that again for a second. I don't want to back the user out in. They don't have to press any buttons. I just want to be able to select the next shape. So we need a way of actually getting out of shape edit mode, which could be selecting empty space, which means every time we check that the left mouse button is pressed, that's where we should do a check for if there is a shape being hovered over. And I think we should do a shape being hovered over also in shape edit mode. So you get a little bit of a redundancy. It has to do this check, and that's quite a costly check. And down here, we're going to do the same thing. So if shape hover is not equal 1, all right, yeah. Sometimes states do have some duplication in. Let me just, because I can't remember what the code was. If we press the left mouse button, we want to stay in shape edit mode. That's fine. We set that to true. We set that to cursor, but we change our shape to the currently hovered shape. But if our hovered shape is -1, as in we're over nothing, then our edit mode becomes idle. Idle. And if it becomes idle, I don't need this bit anymore. If it becomes idle, I just want it to sort of abandon everything that we're currently doing. So we've changed to... This is why next state would be useful, because then we're not doing things... this is kind of breaking the rules of state machines. And it means that the order of the code becomes important, whereas in a good state machine, it shouldn't. We can tidy that bit up. Maybe we'll have to tidy that bit up tonight as well. So edit mode idle. Problem I've got then is that all of this starts to be applied. What happens if we start dragging a shape? Well, we've not got a shape that's selected, so you end up potentially checking for things that you shouldn't be. So I'm going to set B shape drag to false, and N shape selected equals -1. I'm going to be very explicit about it. And if I break here, right, that should break out of at least this if. And that's okay because, no, it won't, will it? That doesn't work. What am I looking for? Yeah, that's no good having that there. I'll just have to do it the old-fashioned way. Yeah, I could get the go-tos out, couldn't I? Come here. So if we've not hovered over a shape, we're not doing any of that interesting stuff, then this doesn't apply anymore. Shape drag is set to false. That's okay. So it should be able to, we should be able to deselect a shape, basically, is what I'm saying. Deselecting of a shape. But in a tidier way. But at the same time, we should be able to go from one shape to the next. So let's just try this. Let's smash a rectangle in there and select here, idle, and smash another rectangle. So 2 rectangles. This one I can pick up and move. And now this one I can pick up and move. Right, without needing to go or press anything in between them. And if I select sort of the void, nothing's happening. I'm back in the spot where I can put another shape. So let's put a circle in there. I can pick this one up and put it somewhere else. And I should be able to do this with absolutely all of our shapes now. So let's place some of these. Construction. Dun, 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 dun. Nice. Okay, we're in idle mode again, but still rendering the control points. So I can pick up this shape, I can pick up this shape, I can pick up this shape, and I can pick up the spline. Good, 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 good. Yeah, pretty pleased with that. Okay, so it's very simple. You know, a handful of lines of simple if code, but we've started to really add some usability to the editor here. Quite nice. That spline isn't too far off something you would get in Manor Lords. Not familiar with that. That sounds incredibly nerdy. Now implement physics. Just like that. I've basically written 4 lines of if commands. Just having it's 1 hour 22 so far. I'm just having a bit of a drink. Let me throat come back, you know. 60 viewers. That's quite nice for a Saturday night. Does this plug into the... Yeah, so what I've done here, Londo, is because the editor of things is very GUI based and there's a lot of files, it's taking about 2 minutes per compile. And so when I just want to quickly hack out sort of ideas and the maths and all that sort of stuff, it's much easier to do it like this rather than waiting for that to compile every single time. And so I can take these ideas and then easily transport them into the editor of things. Do you know there's a software and game dev category now? I do, yes. But we don't use it. We'll leave that to the software devs and the game devs. If you did want to mess about with code, you'll find us here. That's agent. Yeah. Why does it take so long? It's because two reasons. One, something is upsetting the sort of the caching of the WX widgets compile. I've not got to the bottom of that. So one compile, like a change in one file, is causing sort of a cascade needing to be compiled in lots of other things, and I've heavily abused sort of single header approaches, which also really doesn't help things at all. In fact, I was getting so frustrated with it, I've actually reverted PG3 back to not being all just single headers for the stuff. Because it was Visual Studio was actually getting confused as to what it should compile or not. And I'm constantly having to hit the build all thing just to get things to work properly. And it was driving me nuts. So I've deliberately devolved PG3 now to requiring CPP components. That's not how it's going to be delivered, by the way, but whilst I'm developing it, it has sped things up significantly. I claim that you develop games and software. I probably do. Yeah, no, it's one of the things that's nice about this channel is it doesn't have a huge, big audience, right? It's it's a community. Everybody that's chatting now, right, is people that I actually know, or I've been speaking to for a long time. We're good friends on Discord and on Twitch, and even some names on there I recognise from YouTube comments. You'd be surprised. And it's nice, like it's better if when we've been raided and things, and we've had sort of 150. I think the best we've had is like 270 people watching. So you can't sort of take part. Right? It's difficult when it's meant to be an interactive stream, deliberately interactive stream like this. Exactly, we're just all messing about, talking about code. So what's quite nice, so we've got quite a nice editor. It's feeling a bit more fluid. Ooh, I like that. Look at that, that's nice. Additive blending is great. We should all be abusing additive blending as much as we possibly can. Currently, there's no order to the shapes being drawn. This is making me think, because it's the first time I've seen it that we've been able to do this, that actually maybe we need to specify Z ordering. I was going to implement that via layers, and actually, it's not the first time I've thought about this. It's an important part of the editor. The editor's going to have layers of shapes like this, where each of the shapes can be put in a specific order, and that was the reason why I delved into opening up the editor again. If I just boot up Visual Studio, let's just open another instance. Comes up over here, and I'm just going to actually load the editor. Okay, just let that do its thing. Preparing the solution. Okay, so one of the things I've been sort of messing about with the editor is it occurred to me that layers and ordering and Z ordering and grouping is actually really important. If you're serious about wanting to do these things, I'm going to click play now. It might need to compile things. I can't remember. Okay, it's not looking too bad. Now, those that are familiar with the editor will know that we have this sort of workspace tree at the top here with all sorts of different things in it. This has proven to be problematic in terms of... I just don't like it. I don't like it. It's a bit clumsy. It's a bit clunky. So I started to experiment with the idea of grouping these things in tree form for sorts of things like the layers and the shape groupings, but to sort of take them out of being a tree form for the whole workspace. And I sort of simultaneously hacked in this little this tabbed window, and that's as far as I got with it. So I've been thinking about how do we do ordering and grouping, and not quite there with it yet. So it's kind of coding itself in the back of my brain somewhere what we're going to do, but we're not quite there with it yet. Sorry, MegaZone, yes. A bit of a flashback. You see, Londo, I don't love how WX Widgets looks. In fact, I don't love it so much to the extent where every time I start doing something like this, I start thinking, well, I've created a really nice user interface here. Why don't I just do the rest using the same technology? And I got to the point where, let's just see if I can find this. Here we go. I started to play about with what if you wanted to use the Pixel game engine as a standalone GUI only thing. Right, so forget about like WX widgets and that sort of stuff. And I thought what would be really nice is if you had a window in Pixel game engine that you can resize, right? And it actually stays as the window. So you could pop up this window draw your GUI onto it and interact with it just like any other Windows thing. And you could pop up another window and another window and another window. So they still look like rectangles on your desktop, but the content of them is Pixel Game Engine stuff. And I started to play around with being able to use Pixel Game Engine to sort of set Windows locations. And these are new features, by the way. So if you go to the development branch of Pixel Game Engine 2, these are the features that are in there. So see, it's the first time PG has been able to sort of manipulate the host environment like this. There was another button I can press, so there we go. So I can get rid of the title bar entirely and just have it as a floating window on the screen. Right. So some control over what you can do with the window. And then that made me go, well, hang on, I quite like that, but I don't really want to spend too much time redeveloping Pixel Game Engine 2. Why don't we start thinking about how we handle Windows in Pixel Game Engine 3? Transparency, potentially, it could be there. I don't know. So, wasn't there an immediate mode GUI? Yes, there's an... Well, I don't particularly like immediate mode anyway, but there's certainly sort of, I guess, retained mode, if that's the right word. I don't like that word either. I want to recreate the Amiga workbench. Yes, I see what you're saying there. So I started working on that, and I guess what my brain does. Right? It just gets... Project comes along, I get completely distracted and carried away with it. Then I thought, hang on, I'll open up another solution. Hang on. Another Visual Studio solution. For some reason, it pops the splash screen up there, but it goes onto another monitor. But, well, what does Pixel Game Engine 3 do for its windowing? I thought, right, let's have a go. Let's have a look. It's preparing the solution again off the screen. So I started thinking about I have a PGE3 sort of build environment here. What would the Windows stuff look like to the end user of Pixel Game Engine 3? Because I wanted the ability to have multiple windows. It's not something I've actually ever really wanted, but it's come up a few times on the Discord. People would like to have multiple windows running, and how would it look? And so I ended up with sort of this system, and I was sort of prototyping this out. But some nuances of Windows have started to cause me some headaches. So I can't remember if this particular demo will work. I think one of the windows might just walk off the screen, but we'll see. So here's two windows. Now, they don't have any sort of interesting graphics going on inside them, but you can see that they pop up quite nicely. They have resize. Oh, this one you can't resize, so this one you can stretch out, but it'll pop back to its proper size. I think this one, however, you can. So they have sort of distinct properties between the two. And at the moment, all I'm doing is displaying in the title bar where the mouse position is in each window. But I wanted it to be easy to set up. And so I created... the end user wouldn't see this bit. That happens behind the scenes. And basically, you wouldn't see one of these because that's your default Pixel Game Engine window. But I thought this was a really nice way of just being able to create a window. And this ended up being a syntax I quite liked. And you can then sort of play with the dynamics of the window as well in real time. And that works very nicely. It starts to fall down when I'm trying to get the windows to set themselves very accurately on the screen. So it turns out your window, if we run that again, it looks like this is the top left of the window. You can see that, but it isn't. On Windows, this is the top left of your window. And then it goes away and pads some additional sort of spacing around it to give you this frame and border. But it depends on a lot of things. So things like your desktop scaling, things like whether you've got shadows on the window, all sorts of other stuff. And I was thinking, if you really wanted to implement sort of a GUI layer of your own on the top here, you need to have really good control over what's going on to that stuff that's slightly outside of the frame. Now, the WinAPI, I mean, Windows is pretty good at displaying windows, so the WinAPI has lots of interesting functions that allow you to explore all of these different structures around how the frame of the window is constructed. And I'm trying to navigate that at the moment. So that's you see, look at all of this code. It's non-trivial, and I don't think the documentation is clear. I'm not saying it's inaccurate, but I don't think it's particularly clear about what parts of the window it's counting under what circumstances. So some pretty cool stuff going on there, and we'll pull all of this stuff into PG3 main at some point. Too bad the windows don't recoil. Yeah. Yeah, you'd hope Windows could display windows. So there we go. So a little bit of a diversion again. Some Pixel Game Engine 3 development stuff going on. I'm quite pleased with how that's coming together. I really think that the way the user is going to be able to interact with the PG3 is becoming defined now, and that's been a complete byproduct of all of this project that we've been working on. By actually using it, I'm starting to learn, well, I don't like doing it that way. I don't, the user might struggle to understand how to do something. And so this has been a valuable exercise. So even though this CodeZone Series 2, it's slow going, it's not going anywhere, the actual ideas and the thoughts that it's generating, I'm finding to be quite useful. Right, let me just close this down. There we are, so we can stay in our focus mode. Because we can keep going for a little bit yet. I'll tell you, this is the Mega CodeZone. I owe the audience a handful of CodeZone, so... Yeah, you'll have fun when you put this to Linux. This is, something I'm aware of. The question is, do we need to port it to Linux at all? Should we just let Morris do it? That has struck my mind. And am I spending too much time trying to perfect something which is actually not really relevant, when really all you do care about is what's called the client area of the window? Maybe all of the framing around it isn't necessary. But it proved, the reason it's proven tricky is if you enable the frame and disable the frame, Windows doesn't always put it back in the same place. And I found, well, I feel we can do better. Oh, right, Londo, yeah, I'm literally pointing at my door here. There we are. We don't mention that particular phrase here. We don't say the S word in this chat. Right, so we've now got successful selection of shapes, and we can abandon this. So the next thing to look at is how do we go specifically into editing the control nodes. We're adding some genuine functionality tonight, so this is good stuff. Nothing to do with the construction of the shape. We're not in shape edit mode, but we need to have gone into shape edit mode to then go into control mode. So I think what we can have is, as long as we're in shape edit mode, if we press the tab key, so let's try that. If get key, OLC key, tab, dot be pressed. So if we press tab, then I want us to go into control mode. And that's the one that allows us then to edit the control nodes. So let's update our rendering. Because we noticed that we were having sort of different bits and pieces rendering all over the place. What is this one? So this is where we've got the shape. We look at all of the control nodes for the shape. And so this is the actual one we want. So this is construct or control. Edit mode, control. We don't want to render these reticules when we're just in shape selection mode. If no shape is selected, I'm not sure what this is doing. So if no shape is selected, then draw. Oh, sorry. If a shape is selected, then draw the selected shapes nodes. So this one is basically drawing the nodes whilst we are constructing the shape, because it's taking the one at the back. So actually that's slightly different. This one is this one. So now we only want to display all of these nodes if we're in control mode. Mouse cursor, we always want to draw. Right. If we're in control mode and we press the tab key, so I want it to sort of circle through. Press the tab key, then we go into vertex mode. And if we're in vertex mode, oh, this is going to get nasty. This is why we need a proper state machine. Because, of course, it's just going to flip through all of these straight away, because be pressed is true for all of these things. This is why, instead of what I was saying before, the order of the code matters unless you structure your state machine properly. So let's go and structure our state machine properly. That way we don't have this sort of nastiness to worry about. If we're in edit mode and we press the tab key, then we can go from vertex back to... I guess back to shape, right? So, but what we need to do this state machine properly now. So let's go and waz in another beautiful variable, right? Edit mode, ME edit mode, U8 underscore next. Lovely. There we go. Oh, we've got some Mickey Maven. Hello. What a beautiful standard int. You know, you and I, we've just got it right. This is exactly how variables should be named. So, state machine proper, what we should do is not do everything all at once straight away. At the end of our loop, we should have this line. Next, we should set our current state, edit mode, U8 equals our next one. Oh, forgot to capitalize that U there. And instead of ever setting this directly, we should always set our next directly. And this allows us then to do things out of order, because we've got a problem here. If we're in shape mode, so here we are, we're in shape mode now, and I press the tab key, this goes to true, we set our edit mode to control, which means the next line says if edit mode is in control, and we've still got the tab key pressed because we have this frame, then it sets it to vertex. So we've got this problem that as soon as we press the tab key, we just zip through all of these different modes because that's the order of the code. That's no good. That's quite rubbish. So instead, by deferring to the next frame that the update gets applied, then that's how we'll handle this. Now that might break some of the original construction code, so we'll have to have a look at that as we progress. So we set our next mode to that. Next mode. These ones are fine. That one's fine. Next mode is U. Next. That's all fine. Next. You see, that kind of changes some of the dynamics here as well. Should still work, if I feel. Next. Next. And next. Right, let's see if we've completely broken our state machine. C++ does have goto, and we should be using it all the time. In fact, we do use it all the time. Everybody that says you don't use global variables and you don't use goto, well, what do you think your code compiles to? So let's just make sure we've not broken apps. Oh, we're running the wrong program now. That's no good. Start up. Yeah. Did that compile anything? I think it did. We've got a rectangle and another rectangle and another rectangle. And we can pick that one up. We can pick that one up. We can pick that one up. That's good. So if I press tab, Yes, good. We're in control mode, and we can start to see we've got these nodes. If I press tab again, we're in vertex mode, which we've not set up a rendering for yet, but we will do. And if I press tab again, we're back into normal shape mode. So if I go into control mode, I shouldn't be able to select these other shapes. See, state machines are the absolute bee's knees, right? They're really good at coordinating, and we've not had to code sort of these behaviors. You just code the bits that you want. And that's why it works very nicely. So vertex mode, we've got no sort of rendering. So let's actually add in some rendering for vertex mode as well, where it just basically plops a little white dot on every single vertex. Also might be useful in vertex mode to have this drawn in wireframe too. So let's go and add those clauses to our rendering. Spaghetti code. Could eat some spaghetti, actually. Spaghetti is like the worst pasta, though, isn't it? The best one's spirali. Discuss, right? What is the best pasta shape? What are the little bow tie ones? I've not had those for ages. Fusilli, I don't know. It's kind of, it's all right. Pen. Oh, that's like Pixie. Flatworm pasta. I don't want to know. Right, what was I doing? I was going to draw nodes for vertex. So if we're in vertex mode, then it's we want to draw every single node, don't we? So for vertex, we want to draw, let's put that as a vert. We want to go, instead of the nodes, we go to poly.vert. We go through everything, vert, like that. And we'll draw them, vert dot pos. Yeah. So that's going to draw all of the things for vertex. I quite like the idea of drawing drawing the polygons, drawing like the wireframe over it as well. I'm just wondering where that is. So that's drawing the basic shapes. If we are hovering over a shape, that's drawing this one. Is that really what I want to be doing there? I don't think it is. I'm going to steal a bit of this code. And for vertex, I want it to draw the wireframe as well. So I'll get rid of the fill polygon. We'll draw the wireframe. What color should we draw it? Let's draw it in... It'd be nice to have something that actually stood out all the time. Which is not an easy task, really. We'll draw it white for the time being, but that's not usually a good color to draw it. Draw polygon. That's just going to draw the outline. I'm not bothered about the pulsing effect for that, actually. So we can take that out. Additive, just normal. Normal. And I think what we'll do is take that line out of there. So we're going to draw the shape as normal. Yeah, I wanted to do something a bit different. If we're in idle mode, that's when I want it to sort of do... I don't want it to sort of constantly be pulsing the shapes whilst we're editing them. So let's actually add in then what we want it to draw when we're in idle mode. So idle mode, everything, all the shapes get drawn anyway, but if we're in idle mode and we've got a shape hovered, at least then that shows you what you are selecting. Idle mode, yeah, okay. Pop you in there, take you out. So you're going to, that's going to pulse the shape. Right, let's just see what mess we've made of this by now. Yeah, flatworms is yeah, it's not a nice sounding pasta. Pen's like the dullest one, right? It's just tubes. draw a shape. Okay, so in idle, there we go, can select it, and if I select the shape, it stops pulsing because we've got it selected now. Could do with actually highlighting the fact that we've got it selected. If I go into control mode, and if I go into vertex mode, so vertex mode is actually highlighted all 4 verts, that's good. Let's go back into shape mode. Let's draw a slightly more interesting shape. I think if I press 1, no, if I select nothing, I will press 1 and construct. So this is going to construct a fan. Right, so there's the shape. And I'm going to select it. And I'm going to control mode, work and edit the control points, or vertex mode. I thought I could get this to draw all of the individual triangles. I must be mistaken. Is that another one? Is that this one? Oh, 3, construct. Oh, that one is going to draw all the individual triangles, so it's not that. It must have been 2. Which one was strip? Strip? 2. Okay, strip. There we go. Right, so we select the shape. Oh, yeah, we can move it around. And we press tab and go into vertex mode. And we can see the invisible edge as well, which is the one that joins the mesh. Maybe I need to come up with a better way of drawing the triangulation of these shapes. That shouldn't be too difficult, actually, because it'll just be a byproduct of how we do the collision detection with the point and the triangles anyway. But okay, so at least we've got individual rendering contexts now for the different shapes being selected. The shape hover isn't working, though, when we're in shape selection mode. So I think when we hover over a shape which is not the selected shape, we want... I think, no, maybe we always want the selected shape to pulse, so at least we know it's the selected shape. Okay, let's do that then. If we're in idle, or for now... Oh, triple OR, that means extra OR it. Shape. Just double check that. Right, rectangle, rectangle, so we can hover over that one. So this is the one I've got selected. Yeah, that's good. And this is now the one I've got selected. I do select it. Okay, we're in control mode, so nothing else can be edited. Now we're in vertex mode, which is the individual verts. And now we're back into shape mode again. Good. All right, so the next thing now is to actually be able to edit some of the points. What points do we want to edit? I'd like to, for a change, because we've been doing sort of, sorry, all my books are falling off my shelf. We've been doing control point stuff for a while. Let's focus on doing vertex stuff instead. We've got some code already to start moving vertices around, but I thought it'd be more useful to be able to sort of group and select lots of different types of vertices. So in order to do that, I'm going to need to create a cache of which vertices I've got selected for a given shape. So let's add in some variables. Let's have, because we're going to maybe have to draw some sort of rectangular reticule here for the area of interest we're selecting the nodes from. I'm going to create, this is my preferred way of doing this, I'm going to create an unordered set to store these things in. I got unordered set available to me. I haven't, and that doesn't happen very often. Unordered set. Let's try that. Unordered set. And in that I'm going to store indexes to whatever at the moment. So v selected nodes. And I'm going to need to store the coordinates of the rectangle that I'm drawing with the mouse as well. So I've got the mouse down thing already. I could actually just use that, and I could use shape drag because you won't be able to change these things. Yeah, okay, so those variables become usable for this as well, but in a slightly different context. Okay, let's see what happens. Let's go down to edit mode vertex. Right. We know in vertex mode we've got a selected shape and we've got individual vertices, which we iterate through here, and we sort of looked at the mouse, and that's how we move them around. Now we want to draw sort of a selection rectangle in vertex mode if it exists. Okay, right. Sort of programming it in my head first, and then we'll go with it. Get mouse, get mouse. Let's see, mouse left. If this dot be pressed is equal to true, then v mouse down equals v cursor. Oh, no, this one we want world mouse, because you don't want to have everything clamped all the time. We'll have world mouse view, and B something drag did we have? What did we have? What was drag? B drag. B mouse. What did I have? What was it when we were dragging the mouse around? Shape drag, that'll do. We'll hijack that variable. B shape drag equals true. Now this time we don't want to update world mouse all the time as we're moving it around, because that's going to represent one point of our rectangle for selection. And we'll, if b mouse dot be held, which is different, we want our current mouse location. I'm going to need a, I'm actually going to need another variable here. Mouse down, v mouse current. It's a bit of a hacky name, this. I think these names are not very clear. V mouse current. B shape drag doesn't change. We can keep it as true. And if get mouse, we'll see mouse left dot be released, then b shape drag equals false. Now, whilst we're dragging a shape, let's draw that to begin with. So, if we're in vertex mode, and we've drawn our shape, we've drawn our polygon, we've drawn our reticules, we're now so now we want to draw sort of a rectangle of our highlighted rectangle. How am I going to do this? I have to remember how to do this. PG3, draw, we'll do a fill rectangle, is that right? Fill rectangle, and we're going to fill from V mouse down to, size, isn't it? It's not top left, so we'll have to do a little bit of manipulation here. Right, if B shape drag. So we only want to do this if we're dragging the shape. We want to get to the top left and bottom right of our dragged rectangle. So auto v top left equals standard min of v mouse down and v mouse current. Can I do that? Is that going to work? It's not complaining. I was expecting it to complain about this. Why was I expecting it to complain? Well, that's not the one I wanted to do. Why was I expecting it to complain? Have I overridden something for me? Why does that work? Surely that doesn't work. If I compile that, it can't work. No, I don't buy it. That's got to give some errors. Huh. I'm surprised that works. How does that work? Huh. Well, vmouse down and vmouse currents are some custom types. How is standard min resolving? See, what I should have done is this, right? What I should have done is vmouse down dot min vmouse current, right? Which is my built-in minimum. Choose the minimum elements, element-wise, x and y. So I should be able to, you know, that's basically what I'm looking for. So I get the top left will give me the minimum x and the minimum y of those two different variables. I wonder if it doesn't work. I wonder if that's just like returns garbage. That's really fascinating. I don't think I've done anything clever to override. Oh, maybe we have. Maybe we have. Maybe we've override. Ah, is it? I wonder if max doesn't work. Let's just see, because this might be an addition Danderstein added ages ago to allow you to put standard vectors, so VF2Ds into sort of sorted containers. And to do that, we override. We actually provide an implementation of less than. There is a templated standard min that uses operator. Yeah, but I'm thinking that it's not going to work because the override for the minimum is some sort of weird hash. Just a sec. Let me understand this. If I go to peak definition here in our PG3 vector 2D file, we'll just have a quick run, find what we can. What file is this? Got flipping matrices in. Right, here we go. So there's my implementation of the min, right? Which it does use standard min as part of its implementation, but it's it's not compatible. That should not work. So I must be overriding the operator. Here, greater, less than. Yeah, mathematically useful, but handy for sorted container storage. Yeah, that's a bit risky, isn't it? Because that's actually not doing what it should be doing. That's returning. Ooh. Right, we'll have to think about that, actually. Yeah, see, I think I don't think it's doing it. So I'm reading the text. That's why I've gone a bit quiet. I think it's applying this as standard min, which is what you'd expect it to do. Why not? Because it exists, but the actual comparison is not necessarily numerically accurate. It's not doing the same thing, which is fine, right? I think we can get away with it because I've used standard min incorrectly in the context here. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to stick with my implementation for this, because because I know how that should behave. I think the first one is a luxury standard max, so we can pull that in. Okay, so that's going to give us the top left and bottom right coordinates in absolute. Exactly standard, and I can't guarantee that's not the same as element-wise min and max in this case. I mean, the other alternative, of course, I could have done. I believe I could have done this, right? I could have done standard min. No, I couldn't. No, I couldn't. I couldn't have done that. So yeah. And tell it's getting late at this in OLC Studios today. Right, let's work out then what the dimensions of this rectangle possibly is. So we know we're going to be drawing it from V top left now. Oh dear. V top left, we know that the size of it is V bottom right, take V top left all the time. The size of this rectangle, should we draw it? We'll draw it as OLC pixel F, because I want to sort of make it a little bit alpha-y. So we'll have 255, oh no, pixel F at 1.0, 1.0, 0.5. See what that looks like. And that will do. So this is going to be our drag rectangle. I need to then flush the polyform buffer as part of PG3. So that's going to drag, let's just see if that works. So we're going to drag our rectangle. When we're in vertex edit mode, it should allow us to drag a rectangle. We'll have a look. We need to get into vertex edit mode, which means we need some vertices. There we go. I don't know why we'll get a big flash of something happening there. That'll be some of that state machine weirdness. Selected shape, vertex mode. We should be able to now, draw. So it's sort of a selection rectangle. And of course, we want to select the vertices when we release that that are within that selection rectangle, or indeed all the vertices, and which would then give us the same behavior as moving around the shape. In vertex mode. And we can do the same once we've got it for vertex mode. We can use exactly the same. Oh, because we haven't implemented that yet for control mode, and that's what I was just about to say. I shouldn't have clicked there, should I? That was why we had a bit of a crash. That was an expected crash, don't worry. It was all part of the plan. So we can draw our sort of selection area. So we want to actually implement the selection of the shapes there. Where we want to be in vertex edit mode if we've got a shape drag. When we do shape release, let's do it here. We want to test all of the vertices of the shape to see if they are within our rectangle, and then add those vertices to the shape to our selected vertex set. Let's use some Geometry 2D library to help us do this. We need to iterate through all the vertices of the shape though first. Let's find where we had that code there. Good. When we release, if we've not got Shift or Control held down, let's assume that that's the case for now. So the first thing we'll do is vSelect. I don't know why I call it vSelected nodes. It should be set selected nodes. But vSelected nodes dot clear. So we don't have anything selected. We'll iterate through everything that's relevant and test those. So, let's see if I can remember my Geometry 2D stuff. If contains, no, I've not got that. So, OLC, util. Oh, we've got util and utils. Ugh. What have we got on there? Utils. Geom2D contains. The first thing we want to do is pass in our rectangle. We've got to do all that again now, haven't I, to get the rectangle that we've just created. So this bit. If our rectangle is defined as we'll see you know, I'm going to put in I'm going to use a quick using here. So we're typing this sort of stuff out. Using namespace OLC utils geometry 2D. 2D. There we go. Do it right. So if contains rect float. What was the constructor for a rectangle? Yeah, there we go. Float, pos, and size. So the same thing. VTL and VBR take VTL. If our rectangle contains our point, which is p.pos, if that's true, then add that to our set. Selected nodes dot add. Oh, what is it? Dot insert. Oh, I've not got an index, so I'm going to have to do this the slightly old-fashioned way. I need an index to do this. Size t I dx 0. I dx is less than all of that. Vert dot size idx plus plus and idx. Need all that again. Vert idx dot pos. Right, so if our rectangle contains that particular vertex, add it to our set, and then we can worry about what to do with that in a moment. We should probably draw these selected vertices then at this point in a slightly different colour. Okay, let's go and do that so we can see that which ones we've got selected. This will be in vertex edit mode, where we're drawing our reticules, which are those for all the verts. I'm just going to steal that line of code we've just written because we'll iterate through the same loop the same way. There we are. Right. So when we're drawing these vertices, if the set happens to contain... See, I could just draw them all and then overdraw. Okay, let's do it that way. Right. Let's draw. Okay, we're going to cheap out. Cheap out for the sake of getting things done quickly. Then we'll just iterate through what's in the set. So selected verts. We're going to overdraw here, which is fine, right? All verts and selected verts. So for const auto vert again. Don't really need the reference here, it's just a size t, but it's consistent. V selected nodes. Fill rectangle with that. Forward all of that. Vert dot pos. Right. Okay, and we'll colour that slightly differently, just so we know that it's selected. We'll colour it green for the time being. Right. Is it time to move geom from util to utils? Possibly. Vert. Does he know Bert? Right, good. So what have we done there? We've been really lazy, essentially. And what that should allow us to do is see which nodes got selected. Let's have a look. Again, we'll just quickly smash in a rectangle there. Go select it, go into vertex mode, draw around it, and click, and we can see those two vertices have now gone green because they were selected. If I go up here, those two are now selected. Let's try a more interesting shape. So if I go into, hang on. Let's pretend that didn't happen. So control mode is interesting. We need to avoid going into that. Let's go into shape and add a more interesting shape. Something with more nodes. So if I go into, yeah, something like this. Right. And select this shape, go into vertex mode. Vertex mode. Now we can see we've got lots of vertices in this bit. And if I draw my rectangle, yeah, good. So it's only selecting the ones that are in that locale. Nice. So what we should be able to do now is move those vertices once we've got a selection of them. Let's try that. Now, I want that to happen once you've got a selection, I think it's important at that point, so you're not accidentally moving things around, that you do instigate, you are translating these points. So that's where I'd like to press the M key. Right. Okie dokie. Just make sure I remember where we are. So we're in vertex mode. If we have got stuff in our set, it doesn't matter. I'm going to press the M key around. That's going to trigger a movement of the verts. So, okay, if the selected nodes dot empty, if it's not empty, yeah, we could do all sorts of manipulations at this point. We could scale them. I mean, that's the beauty of adding sort of tooling later. But I suppose to begin with, you just want to move particular ones around. If the selected nodes are not empty, right, that's the first thing to check for. Then, if get key, OLC key M is pressed, then that will enter us into some sort of movement mode. We might need an additional flag or state at this point for moving nodes around. If M is pressed, then at that point we want to, same sort of thing we were doing for up here. V mouse drag. Okay, V mouse down becomes our cursor. V mouse down becomes the cursor. And all of the verts and nodes in the selected set okay, yeah, this is where we need a if b moving verts flag, which we've not got yet, because we need to sort of have that disconnect. If we are moving the vertices, then we go through all of the selected shape. We're not moving control nodes at all at this point, just vertices. Then we can be using the same sort of thing. V mouse down, V cursor. Now, if we click with the left mouse whilst we are moving, that's dragging the rectangle, isn't it? So whilst we're in moving vertex mode, this potentially is a completely different mode, but let's just flag it out for now. Well, this is getting to the nuts and bolts of it here. I'm getting quite excited by what this is going to end up doing. B, what do we call it? Move verts equals false. Right. That's not what I call move verts, right? If we are in move verts equals true, then actually go ahead and move the verts and carry on as normal. We can set this to B move verts equals true. Now, how do we exit the moving of vertices? Well, we have to do that when we release the left mouse button in some description. So B move verts equals false. So if we're not moving verts, so yeah, releasing the left mouse button at any time. Or potentially pressing the M key again. Or dragging a whole, well, we'll see what happens. Let's just see what happens here. Okay. Johnny G, hello. You're only 2 hours 20 minutes late. Terrible. Right, let's just see what happens. Bit of a hack. We select our shape, we go into vertex mode, we can select a couple of vertices, and if I press M, that's moving everything around, which is not quite what I wanted. Let's just select that one vertex, M. Oh, it's because I've not done the actual select. We've not actually implemented the clever bit. So we want to go through all of the vertices. Right. Oh dear. We've got this the wrong way around. We want to go right. For const auto vert ID in our v selected nodes. And we want to go through. Let's just make this a little bit nicer to look at. So if we open that and have auto, well, we can't do const auto p equals make shape p vert ID. Get rid of u, and that way we can sort of just edit you like that. Right, okay. Definitely coding on the fly now. Seat of the pants coding. Ooh, Gouda cheeseburgers. Do you know that's the best cheese to put on a cheeseburger? I'm all for that, actually. It melts just right. It's the right cheese. It goes all stringy, and it doesn't go like gloopy, and oil doesn't seep out of it. It's the right cheese. Rectangle. Right, we're getting there. Right, so smash a rectangle out, select it, go into vertex edit mode, select some vertices, press the M key, and we're moving just the vertices we have selected for the first time. There we go. Our rectangle is no longer a rectangle. It is an interesting shape. Let's select just this vertex. We can stretch it. We can start to sort of deform how the rules of the shape are constructed, but you know what? That's fine, right? That's okay. You can select this one. And now we can add modifiers like shift and control to change how we handle the selection, select them all. Let's add in, we end up getting a bit of a crash here as I go sort of step through the different modes again. So I'm going to add a more complicated shape. So this time, let's add in our latest type of poly spline. I need to be in idle mode, right? So 6. Oh yeah, let's just restart because I think we've got a bit of a glitch with one of our states. We'll assess that in a minute, but let's draw a new shape. So 6. Oh, do I not have 6 as a shape? What's actually going wrong here? What's happening? Output. Vector subscript out of range. Well, give me the error. Yeah. Retry. Why didn't it just say debug rather than retry? Let's just jump back through the call stack because I think this might be a little bit trivial. Highlight mouse over shape. Okay, effect shape effect shape dot size. Not that one. Effect shapes size. That shouldn't be a problem. V world mouse contains. The constructing shape 6. No, it's just let me make sure I understand what's happening here. If I place a shape 5, okay, that doesn't seem to have any problems. Literally just shape 6. Finish you off. Now, if we select that shape, go into vertex mode, I should be able to do some weird stuff. So if I select that vertex and move it, yeah, so you can now start to deform the original shape. And if we go and select these vertices, yes, very nice. Now, because these were not locked onto the grid to begin with, they're a bit trickier to move around. Oh, hang on, we've got a full cheese conversation going on. Time to sit in the corner and say nothing. Yeah, exactly. Speedy's on it. Right. Okay, there's obviously a little glitch with my state machine, so I don't know why when we try to... if I try to add shape 6, I don't know why that's falling over. Have I accidentally deleted like an important file? Is it trying to load up a script that doesn't exist? Just quickly try and understand what's going on here. Wouldn't be the first time that I've actually inadvertently deleted something like this. The new shape must have been called. Let's run some debugging. So if I zoom in and we press 6, new shape. Let's go and have a look. New shape comes in. Script is fine. Vex shapes, push back shape. Script is there. Let's go and have a look in initialize. Let's just make sure it does actually do some loading. Okay, try it. Oh, okay, so it did actually run it. It's found the script. It's set to limitless in size. That's okay. That's okay. And then we go into construction mode. That was all fine. No problem there. Place node. Let's go and have a quick look in place node. That's construction nodes. That's fine. That's fine. It's okay. Update the polygon. Okay, it's gone and created some polygons. That all seems fine. So when we get to here, shape hover. So spec shapes does have a shape in it now. Effect shape contains world mouse. Interesting. Interesting. Okay, so it's this this contains function. So let's have a quick glance back at here. The contains function. Now this is non-trivial, this function actually. So contains function takes in a position. What have we actually got in terms of stuff here? This might be it. So we're trying to do a contains because we're looking to see does the shape have any hover, but there's actually nothing in the shape. It has no size yet because it hasn't been generated. So I think we just want to have an early release clause here which says, look, if you've got no actual vertices, then clearly you can't contain the point. Okay, so if poly.verts.size, I'm guessing it's less than 3, right? You need a triangle for it to have area, so we can return false without any sort of messing about. Return false. Let's try that. The reason I want to choose this particular shape is it has a more interesting vertex layout, just to test to see how our verts can be edited. Have a look. So 6. Oh, it's not. Oh, there we go. Interesting. Ooh, we're chewing down now. Right, okay. So we got this little bit of crossover. Now, normally you'd fix that with altering the control nodes, but what I want to do is jump into vertex mode, where we can see all of the vertices. This is why I liked this one, because it's just got a lot more vertices for us to choose from. So we can test to see if our selection has worked. Good, it does. And if I move just explicitly those that I have selected, very nice. Okay, good, good, good. We can do other things as well. So if we go to shape mode, if I go now to create a star, what was that? Was that number? Was that? I can't remember what number star was. Was it S? Oh no, that was segment, wasn't it? So what does that look like in vertex mode? Select it, vertex mode. Okay, I've forgotten what my star was. It 4? 4. Okay, that's nice. Select you. We'll just move the whole shape out of the way for the time being. And go into vertex mode. And if I select you in the middle, I can deform you like that. I can move the center point of the star, and we can... I'll have to do a direct sort of vertex select thing as well. Right. Okay, right, I must confess I am desperate for the bathroom, but I think this is probably not a bad time to stop because it's 10:30 at my time, so that's 2.5 hour mega code zone we've had tonight. I see the chat has already sort of devolved into talking about literally cheeseburgers, so I think that's probably a good time to think about stopping. So yes, what a good, we've made actual code. Look, we did code. We've not done that before in a code zone. So with that, it's typical because it's all unplanned and unscripted. I need to play the intro now so Bixie gets some of his royalties. But I will be about on the Discord server in a minute. I'll see you all soon. Thank you very much for watching. Oh, and thank you for the new subs as well. Take care. Bye bye.